14, verses 28 and 30. Before we get to that, though, I'm going to just mention about what we've all been distracted, right, at times. Anyone that's been a parent has been distracted. You know, you get distracted with the internet because kids want something else. I get distracted. The problem is I get distracted real easy. Too. But you know, distraction in our Christian life is we stop and go with God. We just kind of stop our Christian life, let it go. Something takes us off of it, you know, because face it, Satan wants us distracted, doesn't it? He wants, that's his biggest tool in his toolbox, is distraction. Distraction is a stealer, a stopper, and a seducer in our lives. You know, it steals us from our joy of serving God. It stops us too, doesn't it? From serving God, it keeps us. It just delays everything we want to do. If I kept dealing with all the distractions I had. If I just kept getting distracted back and forth, it's kind of interesting. Nothing would get done. I do get distracted, yes. It's seducer, of course, you know, you get things, I see people would rather go to the beach, you know, get up early in the morning, go to the beach, rather than spend an hour. Well, I hear you got to get early to get to it. Yes, I'm thinking of God another day. Spend an hour with God. Spend an hour with God on Sunday morning. So we've spent more. As we grow here, we're going to try to get more and more going. It takes people to do it. But distraction is taking our eyes off of something important. Focusing on something a little less important. It's a good way to describe distraction. I get quite, you know, it's like kind of like drive. Here we go, mine, I got it working. You drive distracted, such as texting or tuning the radio while you're driving. I mean, we've all done that, tune the radio, and all of a sudden you see, hey, there's a semi. Where'd that come from? You know, and where did this clip come from? You start doing your impression of Wile E. Coyote hitting the ground. Except we don't have the good thing. A good verse of scripture about distraction. It's in Matthew 14, verse 28 to 30. Peter called out to him, this is when they're on the sea. Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you walking on the water. He says, yes, come. And Noah says, come on, let's go. So Peter went over the side of the boat, walked on the water towards Jesus. When he saw the strong wind and the waves, he was terrified and began to sink. Save me, Lord, he shouted. Okay. It's kind of a good thing. He was doing great, wasn't he? I mean, he was walking on the water, doing all kinds of, doing something that's totally out of this world. He was walking on that water. As long as he stayed focused on Jesus. What happened was he started letting the waves, the circumstances around him, the wind, the waves coming around, distract him from Jesus. He took his eyes off of Jesus, started focusing on the waves and stuff. Well, we know how that worked out. He just went underwater. He started going under. We start to sink spiritually when we take our eyes off of God and off of Jesus. We're going to start sinking spiritually. There's a lot of Christians that How many Christians do we know that got distracted, get distracted, don't grow and bear fruit, they don't grow spiritually, they don't bear fruit, because they get distracted. Just like I mentioned about the driving and texting and or tuning the radio, driving distracted can have devastating results. Well, so can our living distracted from God too. I'm going to go through 5 ways to overcome distraction. The original sermon that I got this from had 10 ways, but I didn't think I wanted to go through all that, time reasons. There's 5 ways we can overcome distraction. First off is to avoid unhealthy relationships. You know, there's always people out there that are threatened, jealous, or just don't want you to succeed, right? Satan doesn't want to see this church succeed, so he's going to try and distract people from it. He gets us frustrated and distracted. I've got distracted pastoring this church. I get so frustrated on what's not happening. It keeps me focused on what we need to do. And my wife and I have to kind of keep each other on focus, I believe. Keep her more so than me. She keeps me on focus more than she keeps me focused more than I probably keep her focused. We have to, but people don't want, sometimes people don't want to see you succeed in what God called you to do. You know, it's a known fact to become like the people you hang out with, right? If you hang around with a bunch of negative people, a bunch of negativity, if you just hang around that, you're going to become negative. You're going to start having this negative feeling and distracting you from your walk with God and what He's got planned. Because everybody here is a servant, a minister of some sort. Everybody is. A ministry is not necessarily preaching, but it can be doing anything with the church, helping out in some way or another. That's a ministry. But people want to distract from it. Satan wants us to be distracted from that ministry. Not want us to help out in a way. What we need to start doing is actually developing friendships and more uplifting, spiritually uplifting people, somebody to help keep us focused on God. You need to balance your relationships with it. Here's another one that I kind of cringed at when I put it up, because avoid messy clutter. If you ever look at my living room, our couch is a clothes order. I guess I've been trying to remodel a bathroom for about 1.5 years, 2 years, I think. And longer than that, yeah. She said, longer, yeah. Definitely going to make sure I know about it. Yeah. I got distracted. Now I got stuff scattered about everywhere. But, we need to be organized. Some people can function in that way. We got kind of like our desk is kind of a cluttered mess, but it's funny because you can go right in there and look, oh, here it is right here. You organize it, forget it, she's throwing it all over the floor looking for something. I come home one time and I see papers strewn all over the living room. I mean, all over the living room. What the heck happened to the file cabinet, Barb? No, she was looking for something, and, oh, you mean this here? It's like, oh. But when you look at, there's something about Nehemiah, the book of Nehemiah, but it's a whole book of Nehemiah has to do about building that wall around Jerusalem. But you know, Nehemiah, he had a plan. Most time we get clutter, spiritual clutter, is when we don't have a plan. You don't have a master plan. You know, you don't have a plan. You're not organized. You know, he put people, he delegated people on that wall at different places. If we don't follow God's plan in our lives, we're going to be in spiritual chaos, won't we? Spiritual, we're going to be running in circles, be like the proverbial dog chasing his tail. And that brings up a pretty good story about my dad and I trying to bathe a 100-pound Airedale in the bathtub at home. And because he wanted to, he was having trouble, I guess, trying to get a groomer to do him. So he told me, okay, hold the dog while I bathe him. Well, we put the dog in the cold bathtub, so needless to say, he wasn't too thrilled with that. I get the dog, I got a 100-pound dog in a headlock, it's all wet. He's scrubbing around the dog in the back, so he started settling down. And lo and behold, my dad, I don't know where he got the idea, when he wanted to clean this dog's backside, he soaked up this stiff bristle scrub brush. I'm holding, he goes, hold the dog. He picks the dog up by the tail. Now that we were there, he's scrubbing this dog with a scrub brush on its backside. It's snorting and grumbling, and I mean, I could have sworn the dog shot me the bird with one of his toes sticking out at me. Now this dog was not happy about it. Now, this was one of the houses back in the 60s. It had the nice white, it had a nice white, beautiful white tile on it. It had white. Now, that didn't turn out to be that big of a mess because we didn't have a plan. We wasn't organized. And I didn't have very much of a plan either when Joy and I had kids. We had a big old tomcat.
Sorry.
He's got a... He's not feeling very good. But, we had this tomcat. And it started getting fleas. Well, I figured I was going to do a flea dip on it. Big mistake. Especially when you don't read directions. It said warm water, and I thought, well, it's not warming up. It was cold water, for starters. And I found out cats don't like cold water. Especially when you dunk them. When you dunk them in it.
Cats don't like water.
So I tell you one thing right now, as a pastor, I will not baptize cats. Because that turned out to be the most interesting thing. It kind of wanted to fly out of that bucket, and I just checked the shower curtain, Here, okay, let this thing off. Here it is. Boom, 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 boom. Hitting the shower curtain. You see Tony, claws coming through it, and hey, I better open this thing. The cat goes flying out the door, and couldn't see it ever since then. But we all can, our spiritual lives could be that way if we don't plan. If we don't have an organized spiritual life, coming to church, Bible studies. One thing we've got to avoid procrastination. I'm going to quit procrastinating. You just wait and see. You've heard that one before. Or maybe today or tomorrow I'll quit procrastinating. I like, if there's a verse, a good verse is in Ecclesiastes 11:4. This is out of the New Living Translation. Farmers who wait for perfect weather never plant. If they watch every cloud, they never harvest. You can't find the perfect condition, okay? A lot of people want to wait for just the perfect condition. When I'm financially out of debt, I'll start a family. It can probably be like, nowadays it'd probably be like Abraham and Sarah waiting until they're 90. Because you're going to be in debt all the time. A lot of people hold off on accepting Christ for joining the church because conditions aren't perfect. We can't just wait for perfect conditions. We got to act in imperfect conditions. Now here's something I've struggled with. Avoiding comparisons. When I first started pastoring, I was wanting to be able to preach really eloquently, like Billy Graham or Greg Laurie or one of these other guys. I tried to preach like him. Well, I tell you, that turned out to be a fiasco because I had to start being me. I had to preach like me. It may not be perfect. Not everybody may like it. So be it. I'll be fine with that. I mean, because we've had to come to the church, come to the realization maybe our church isn't for everybody. Some people like some churches, some people like big churches, some like small. We do our best to accommodate everybody, but I don't want to sit there and try and, especially our church, trying to compare ourselves to another church, trying to live up to some other bigger church's standards. And we can't. We got to build ourselves up. God's going to reward it. It's going to take patience. And get back to the procrastination portion of it. We still wouldn't be here if I had procrastinated. Joanna and I would have just sat there and said, well, maybe we better not do this. We started out with a VBS. We got to put together on a shoestring budget with a frayed shoestring. And I mean, it was a really, really cheap, it was a really horrible budget we had to work with on it, but we pulled it off and it come out really good. We had one kid being baptized, accepted Christ. But if I would have sat there and just sitting there trying to compare, just let it distract me from what we needed to do. If we would have hold off and if I didn't want to compare, if I didn't quit comparing to other churches, we wouldn't have been doing very well this time around. Now, here's a good one. Holding on to the past. It's hard to move forward if you're holding on to the past, right? Not letting go of it. All those grudges and bitterness. We get in there, it's, you're sitting there, you don't want to let go of a past wrong that somebody done. I don't like what this guy did to me. We got to let go of the past. A lot of people, there's a lot of churches that died because they didn't want to change. They didn't want to embrace anything new. A lot of Christians go stagnant because they don't want to embrace anything new. Because everybody they want to hold on to this old past. They want to hold on to the past, not let it go. Just whatever the thing is you got in the past. Throw it out the window, flush it down the toilet. Don't look at it, just flush it, get it down. Get rid of it. We get rid of that past. We are gonna. That's the biggest thing, because it's like grabbing hold of that door jamb and trying to walk through the door. You want to hold on to that door. You want to hold on to that outside as much as you can, or you're not going to go very. You're not going to make it anywhere. You're not going to sit there and try to walk away and hold on to this pulpit I mean, I'm not gonna be able to, I won't go very far, will I? I mean, I probably could, I'll probably be pulling on top of me and doing a Superman over the communion table here, but aside from that, I wouldn't go very far. We can't go very far spiritually if we hold on to the past. Any past, like I said, any past grudges, holding on to anything in the past. Living in the past is, you can't progress. Everybody held on to the past, but we have electricity. I don't think so. Wouldn't have a fantastic sound system like this. Wouldn't be able to put on YouTube. I couldn't. Kind of interesting. A lot of people dream of being a worldwide pastor. Well, guess what? I can be seen all over the world with YouTube. That is so great. Embrace something new. I'm going to be going in for, right now, as an invitation.